One Piece is a series known for always following a very similar structure to each arc. The Strawhats first arrive at a new island, they then do a bit of exploring, they then meet some new people, they then encounter a conflict, they then face the conflict, but more importantly, they have always been able to overcome the conflict that they face, be it through sheer guts or even a bit of luck on their side. However, Sabaody is the first main arc where we finally see this structure break. The arc ends with the Straw Hats being forced to face off against the Shichibukai Kuma, but in the end all their efforts are futile and they are completely wiped out. And it's the way in which Oda executes this situation that the Straw Hats face which completely blew me away. Yes, their separation was shocking, but it's the sequence of events leading up to each of the Straw Hats' disappearances which I think made this moment. This is the reason why, even to this day, although the shock value isn't really there anymore, I still feel such amazement whenever I reread the manga chapters or rewatch the anime episodes of this arc. So let's get into it. We start off with their confrontation, Kuma and the Straw Hats. Since Luffy was knocked out at the end of Thriller Bark, this is his first time facing Kuma. Luffy doesn't know the kind of crap Kuma put Zoro through, and considering what's happened so far in the arc, with Luffy punching a celestial dragon, teaming up with Kid and Law to defeat some marines, and even his hyped up encounter with Rayleigh, Luffy is at the peak of his confidence. Not like he ever lacked it in the first place though. He even feels excited to face off against a marine admiral. However, when facing Kuma for the first time, Luffy understands just how strong he is. The word Shichibukai alone is enough for even someone like Luffy to understand, and we immediately witness a change in Luffy's tone to one much more serious. Even though Luffy acknowledges just how strong Kuma is, initially he still strongly believes he can defeat him by going all out straight away. Even Sanji believes they can overcome him since they are now all full of energy unlike their last face-off. And in a way, we as the audience mirror the reactions of the Straw Hats. Through these direct statements made by the Straw Hats, Oda is able to fully hype us up and make a lot of us think that they can actually beat the so-called fake Kuma. And the barrage of attacks from each of the Straw Hats only further our hype. Each of them are given their own moment to shine, which I love because we so often see characters get left out and shown in battles in favour of just the main character. But this is only really the start of the way in which Oda plays with our emotions throughout this battle. Just as the Straw Hats beat the first pacifista and are finally given a chance to rest, more trouble arrives, and immediately, for one of the first times in the series, Luffy chooses to run away. But what makes this unique from other running away scenes in One Piece is that everyone's tone, especially Luffy's, is different. Luffy understands just how bad the situation is. Normally, in this type of running away scenario, Luffy would kind of gallop away. He wouldn't take the situation too seriously, and most of all, he would just try to have the most fun out of the moment. However, here you can clearly see Luffy isn't having fun at all. He's more concerned and focused more than anything. The way in which he says we have to get out of here in the anime, you can really feel his concern and desperation, maybe even to the extent of fear, but does Luffy really even fear anything? We also see some great character development in Luffy as a captain. He rightly tells Zoro and Sanji to split up into different groups of 3 since they are the strongest. And it's great to see Luffy react so practically and efficiently in a very pressurizing situation. In other times, we would have seen maybe Robin or Zoro or Sanji advise his call and then wait for Luffy's decision, but here Luffy is quick to act and he does it as a true leader and captain. But despite Luffy's leadership, it's all for nothing. Oda once again crushes our hopes. First, Sanji's group get cornered by Kuma, then Luffy's by Sentomaru, and finally they come face to face with Kizaru, and of all people to hit, he gets the already injured Zoro. And even though we all know that there is no way Zoro will die here, this moment is still emotional as hell. A lot of it is down to how Oda does a sensational job in depicting the facial reactions of each character in this moment when Zoro is hit. If you were to take away all the speech bubbles and the dialogue inside them, you'd still be able to strongly sense and get emotionally hit by the desperation of the Straw Hats in this moment. My favourite reaction is definitely Nami's. It's like she's already lost all hope and you can clearly tell that she's dying inside. But as expected, someone comes in to save Zoro. Rayleigh's entrance is just pure hype, and this is even furthered by Kizaru himself, who admits his inability to capture Rayleigh in this moment. Kizaru's words alone are enough to highlight just how strong Rayleigh is even at his older age. And by doing this, Oda once again gives us hope that the Straw Hats will be fine in the end, since Rayleigh is here to protect them while they run away. But it turns out that that is not the case, as we see the Straw Hats continue to diminish in battle, and Oda eventually counters our expectations for an escape as the real Kuma finally shows up. But in the midst of all this hype and emotion that we have gone through so far, Oda begins to introduce themes of mystery and uncertainty. The real Kuma unexpectedly halts the Pacifista, preventing it from killing Zoro, shocking us as the audience even more than his sudden arrival. Later on, we also see Kuma send a Pacifista away, and then have a very short confidential conversation with Rayleigh, one not meant for Kizaru to hear. Kuma's character at this point is covered in secrecy and mystery, which foreshadows the fact that he'll probably have an important role later down the story. And what this mystery also does in this moment is that it almost distracts us from the fight and the likely prospect that the Straw Hats just can't win here, as a result making the soon after crazy events even more shocking and harder to digest. For example, just when you think Zoro will somehow be safe, Kuma sends him away, and this just happens so suddenly at the end of chapter 512 in episode 404. In the manga it takes place in the space of only 6 panels from the real Kuma's arrival. We as the audience aren't even given time to digest all these crazy events that have occurred so far in the chapters and episodes, let alone Zoro disappearing. As a result, the reality that Zoro has disappeared is something that becomes extremely hard for us to contemplate and accept. And then we head to the next chapter 513 and episode 405, which is where the Straw Hats completely collapse. Just as the Straw Hats were each given their own moment to shine at the beginning of the battle, here they are each given their own time to suffer alone at their unavoidable fate standing right in front of them, and boy, each and every disappearance gets to you. From Brook, who goes out in a pretty funny way, to Chopper, who's completely immersed in rage, to Nabi and Robin, who are both desperately crying out to Luffy for help which they know he just can't give. It's just so sad and painful to watch and read. You get them Ken Kaneki V14 vibes, that for the first time the Straw Hats are powerless in the face of their enemy. Up until now they've been able to overcome everything they've faced, but now their run is over. On top of the manga, the anime really does a perfect job in depicting the separation. Normally we criticize the One Piece anime for having such a slow pace in order to avoid filler, but here the slow pace works so well at the moment. It makes it incredibly more painful and uncomfortable to watch, drawing even more emotion out of us as viewers. All the voice actors do a phenomenal job, especially Luffy's, who does so well in depicting just how heartbroken Luffy is. I'm not one for flashbacks featuring in important moments, but the flashback at the end of episode 405 showing each of the Straw Hats joining is perfect. The flashback mirrors Luffy's thoughts and the soundtrack mirrors his feelings, and boy, that is one of the saddest soundtracks I've ever heard. The flashback also makes us very reflectful, as we reminisce on the journey that the Straw Hats have so far gone through, but these happy memories which Luffy reflects on here have now become plagued by his inability to protect and save his friends, which in turn only hurts him even further. Luffy's last line is very tragic considering what went down, however it also makes us question whether the Straw Hats have just been way too naive lately on their journey. Have they all become far too overconfident? Should they have even put themselves in this situation in the first place considering their current strength levels? The Straw Hats have been getting into more and more unavoidable situations which they have been increasingly unable to deal with. For example, there was their confrontation with Aokiji and the time when the Mary became the ultimate MVP. Their separation was even foreshadowed at Thriller Bark when Moria tells Luffy that at his current level he would lose everything in the New World. Rayleigh also hints at this beforehand. At the end of the day, they aren't invincible. Luffy at this moment is just another kid on the sea wanting to be the Pirate King. Things will only get tougher in the New World. They won't always have luck on their side, and at their current strength levels they won't last for long. And I really love that here Oda didn't choose to follow the shonen trope and trends that we so often see, where the main characters get caught in a continuous cycle of power-ups as they face stronger and stronger antagonists. Their separation can even be related to the everyday real life. Eventually, we will all fail at something, but it's how we respond which is most important. And at the end of the day, Sabaody really is only a prologue for what is about to come in the New World, but boy is it a freaking good one. And so yeah, I hope you liked the video. Please leave a like and subscribe if you did. And also comment down below on what other amazing moments in anime you would like me to talk about in the future. And also, could you let me know if you would like to see longer videos, because for the previous episodes I've had a lot more planned for them, but I didn't want them to drag on for too long. So yeah, let me know what's the ideal time for you. And so yeah, I'll see you next Wednesday guys. See ya.